Welcome to Westcon Imagine for 2013. I'd like to start the day actually with a couple of thank yous. Firstly, I appreciate there's a lot on at the moment, and for the people who are sitting here today to take time out of their day to come and be with us for this event is fantastic. And go a step further, this Imagine, we've actually had over 1,500 registrations. In fact, for the first time in 9 years, we actually had to close the registrations off. And in Auckland alone, there's 900 people who have actually attended. So a massive round of applause for everybody who's attended today. Thank you. My second thank you actually goes to all the sponsors who made this event happen today. Without them, we certainly couldn't have pulled together Imagine this year and future years. So thank you. IBM for being the platinum sponsor for this keynote, and also for the breakfast this morning and the major event. So another round of applause for all our sponsors as well. Getting into the day, this is our 9th Imagine event. The fundamental principles of Imagine haven't changed. It's an opportunity which offers technology insights to help you make the right business decisions. Every year we strive to make this event more relevant, and this year will be no different. If I can take a minute to talk a little bit about our financial results. Unfortunately, being part of a publicly listed company, we are actually in a financial blackout at the moment. So what I can tell you is Datatech, which is our holding company, our revenue expectation is between 5.2 and 5.3 billion. When you put that in context, and to give you a little bit of context, Westcon makes up about 75% of that number. From a New Zealand perspective, we were just shy of 155 million, and I want to share some data with you actually up here as well. That was actually a flat year-on-year growth. And when you look at those charts up there, you can actually see that our UC and networking and security business grew quite considerably. Now, some of those anomalies are actually due to new vendors coming into our business. But however, if you look at the revenue side, it's grown quite nicely. However, you will notice that our data center business over the past year has actually contracted. Now, that's a great segue into my next slide, which is about the New Zealand market change, because let's understand why that is. So one of the things we're seeing in New Zealand, and New Zealand does tend to be a relatively early adopter, is we're seeing a lot of people move from a CapEx model to an OpEx model. And we're seeing people move into the cloud, as we call it. And where in the past we're ending up with people buying infrastructure or providing infrastructure for 3 years up front with maintenance and everything associated with it, now what we're seeing is the consumer is actually moving to a per-use basis or a per-month basis. So what happens is your product revenue, rather than the large lumpy deals you get up front, actually move into a per-month basis. So the good news is we're actually predicting in our business that we'll see a crossover of that revenue in around about 2015, so it will catch up. And to give you a little bit more context, if I look at our 2 largest software subscription vendors, our subscription-based software services last year alone grew just shy of 300%. So we actually have seen a massive adoption in that. The other thing we're actually seeing is a contraction of buyers. And that's mainly through syndication programs, and the well-known one is all a government. So what's actually happening is we're seeing less resellers purchasing less frequently, and for a targeted customer base. The second areas we're actually seeing around the market is that it's still challenging with budgets. And our biggest enemy out there is the do-nothing enemy. So we have a lot of people who are looking at technology, but ROI becomes far more critical for businesses making decisions. And the final area is talking about the Christchurch rebuild. We actually haven't seen a big uplift from this area other than actually data center services. So it's interesting when I go around the traps and have a chat to people, and what I tend to hear a lot of, well, the market's tough and I can't wait for this market to actually turn around. However, I'd like to challenge that thinking. I'm not sure that the market actually is going to turn around. And in fact, certainly not in the short term. My view is the market we're actually currently in is the new market, and it's actually becoming normal. And it's imperative that we change our businesses to actually deal with this marketplace. So with that in line, what are our goals? Unfortunately, although I negotiated hard and tried to get a decline in revenue target this year, I failed. And it's really interesting when you have a conversation in our business, and it happens in most businesses, you go there with a number, your boss comes there with a number, the business comes there with a number, and it doesn't actually really matter because you end up with your boss's number regardless. So I'd like to shorten that process actually next year. But we have a 13% uplift in top line growth. And we've got 4 major strategies of how we're going to deliver that. So the first area is we're going to continue our investment in data centre, UC and networking and security. That's our core business, that's where most of our revenue comes from, and it also underpins our BYOD and unified communication strategy as well. The second area I want to talk to you about is our LEAP Centre. So those who came to our building opening in October last year will see that we've made a significant investment into a demo centre. And that's an environment which we encourage all our partners, end customers and vendors to actually use. It's about learning new technologies. It's then about experiencing and seeing how to actually put them to use. Architecting, so we encourage proof of concepts, and we also encourage you to spend the time designing stuff. And the last piece is plan, and that's about planning migrations and breaking it in our data centre rather than breaking it in yours. The third area is we're certainly going to continue to invest in our services and channel, complementary channel services. So that's about traditional distribution services around pre-staging for routers and switches, configuration services. So we've got a massive opportunity around some of our IP telephony space where we have a configuration, and if you don't, a configurator for that, and if you don't know about it, please talk to the people from Westcon about it. Implementation, which is around link in a box. The other area, and Darryl will actually kill me for this, but I call it body shopping channel implementations, right? That's about adding value to our channel partners and actually helping you deliver the total solutions. And Leap Centre, which I've already talked about. Then I come into quite an exciting area. And this has always been a passion for me personally and a passion for our business as well. So we're investing in Greenhouse and Cloud, and I talked a little bit about this last year as well. But what we've done since then is we've actually set up a focused division purely focused on incubation technology. That's about bringing new technologies to market. We put it through a vigorous process, which is our vendor onboarding process, which is actually done out of a team in the US, and then we bring it to market as new technology into the market. Now, with that, we're actually launching the Greenhouse Acceleration Program, so I'd encourage you to go to the stand and find out about that today. The second area is cloud, and look, I know there's a lot of hype about cloud, so I'd like to break it down really simply where it sits from our perspective. The first thing I'm going to commit to you, and we committed to you last year and we committed to the year before, it is not Westcon's strategy to build our own cloud. That is not what we're about. So the first area up there is cloud builders. So the builders are the people who are building cloud normally for a private cloud type solution or a single customer. The second area is cloud providers. And that area is about the public cloud or the multi-tenanted cloud environment. Now those two areas there, we're already well ensconced in. In fact, that's where we're selling a lot of our infrastructure. And that comes down to the subscription-based services I talked about and software, and also talks about providing infrastructure on a per month or per use basis. The third area is quite a new area. And I'd like to introduce you to a term, and it is a Darryl term, but it's a great term, and that's digital distribution, right? That is about the cloud resellers who want to buy cloud services. They don't necessarily want to build them, or they want to add value to the cloud they've actually created. We're going to be very big in this space. And we have a series of announcements coming in the upcoming months, actually specifically to New Zealand, which we're going to be sharing with you. So watch this space. It is a big area, and it's certainly something to talk to our team about. So with that, it's no surprise that we're announcing two new business areas, WestconGroup Cloud. And look, we're fortunate enough to actually have our global VP of Cloud Services. He just gave me a little bit of trouble because I promoted him to Executive VP in the breakfast, so I need to bring it back. I'm not quite sure how that all works, but I think he's going to send me a bill for the pay rise. But anyway, our VP of Cloud Services, Dave Robbins, he's having a session later today. Please go along. I asked him to describe it yesterday, and I don't know whether you call this a USism or what it is, and he said, I'm going to get loud about the cloud. So come along. It sounds a very interesting session. The other part today is our greenhouse, and there's a stand sitting here today which actually is fully targeted around our incubation and innovation business. So please spend the time and go and have a look at that. With that, I want to talk a little bit about this year and Imagine. So the first thing we're absolutely going to do is we're going to give you an insight into your investment decisions to give you the competitive advantage in the marketplace. That's one of our core goals. Secondly, we've got a lot of local and international thought leaders here this year, so we're going to give you access to that. We really want you to spend the time and upskill with a number of technical streams and 10-minute streams to actually get a snapshot of information. It's a networking opportunity, and finally, and this is the bit I like, I want to buy you guys a drink. So that's the last part of what Imagine's about.